Hello and welcome to my first video in my series showing the build of my dad's mini bike. We started the project around Christmas in his shop in Wisconsin. The reason we aren't done yet is because I live in North Carolina. But I did just get him his own camera, so he's finishing it up now. Anyways, I ordered a lot of these parts before the build, and here's where we started. So a couple years ago we created a mini bike for me that I took home to North Carolina, but this year we're gonna make a mini bike for my dad. And what we're kind of styling it after is like an old school cafe racer. So we ordered some parts, most of them are like Honda 50 parts. We got a Predator motor and then found a couple pieces that we want to use, including this gas tank. And we're just kind of mocking it up and visualizing it for right now. But as you can see, this is kind of the general look we're going for. We're gonna have a top tube that comes from here to here and then make a 90 and then go straight down. And then we got an idea for a piece of plate actually for the down tube and then for the motor mount. And then we're gonna make this a bike with a swing arm on the back. So we're gonna order some suspension. We have a little seat up here. We haven't figured out the handlebars yet, but we're gonna get the frame done first and then go on from there. While I started taking the pieces off the engine that we planned to modify, my dad prepped the metal for the down tube. This piece of plate was originally cut with an oxyacetylene torch, so it needed some work.
Well, this is what we're gonna do here. This is a piece that I had laying around, and we're gonna use it for the mount, the motor plate, and then we're gonna bend it so that we can use it for the down tube also. And then we're gonna kind of cut it out on an angle. And first of all, we gotta clamp it down real good, and then we're gonna heat it up and bend it. And then we'll drill our holes later for the motor and do any extra that we gotta do. First, we're gonna get this at about 70 some degrees of a bend.
While my dad heated up the plate, my brother showed up to check things out and give us a hand. Alright, we just got our down tube done, which you can see runs down, and then it's going to be the motor plate. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach this top tube. We tried to find someone to help us bend another piece, but we couldn't figure out somebody that was able to help us. So we found this piece we had laying around. This is going to work. We're going to make it a little shorter. We're going to get it as tight as we can to the engine and then go from there. I used the drill press and a hole saw to cut the top tube so it would match up with the swing arm bracket I'll be making next. We realized that this orange tubing is also the right size for our swing arm bushing, so we cut that out of this piece as well. Next, we cut the motor plate to length using the chop saw, and I used the drill press to cut a hole for the head tube. My dad cleaned this piece up some more while I cut the tubing for the head tube. Off camera, my dad cut one of the sides for the down tube. Then I cut the other side and deburred it. Next, we cut the notch for the top tube to match the angle of the head tube. While I cut the second piece needed for the head tube, my dad cleaned up a few of the other pieces. Alright, we have our down tube set up. We got it cut, notched. We got our top tube cut and notched as well. We got our spot where we're gonna attach the swing arm kind of in the works, but the next thing we need to do is the head tube. So I drilled 2 holes in this piece of tube, and then this tube is going to go inside. It's a little bit shorter, and then that's going to create our bearing cups. Then we'll get that attached to here and then go from there. At this point, off camera, we set the head tube angle and tack that on as well. Now that we set the width of the swing arm mount, my dad tapered the motor mount to match. Then he tacked on the mount. We measured out and sort of eyeballed the top tube and tacked that into place. Then, before we got too far ahead of ourselves, we wanted to mock it up and see what it looked like. Alright, we kind of have things mocked up here. We got the front end on. That looks pretty good. It's a little taller than we thought, so the bike's going to sit a little higher than we thought, but I think we'll be okay. We kind of got something mocked up on here for the seat, but the next thing we're going to do is the rear swing arm and figure out the suspension and all that, and then we'll go from there. But that's going to have to wait until the next part of the series. Thank you for watching the first part of this mini bike build. Thank you to those who like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing the rest of our progress with you.